Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to another Webinar Wednesday, hosted by Cal State Bakersfield Small Business Development Center. This is Wednesday webinar, or Webinar Wednesday as we prefer to call it, number 294, Webinar Wednesday around since January of 2013. And so today is October 11th, got a great webinar. As always, we always have a great webinar. And we're going to be talking about green business certifications, a lot of things businesses can do to make their business green. We'll have our resident economist, Dr. Mark Evans, in. But first, on October 11th, we're going to be talking about the green business opportunities. Yes, there's opportunities for you to be more green in your business, more environmental friendly, and there may be some incentives to do so. So we will get into that today. We will also have our economic corner, which is our regular feature every week, whether we have a doctor in the house or not. But today, good for you. You got a doctor in the house today. And we're going to be listening to Dr. Mark Evans in a few minutes. Our capital quarter is going to be on credit lines. Yes, lines of credits. And lines of credit that maybe can help you in your particular business if you have a seasonal need, if you have an intermediate need for capital or for permanent working capital. We'll talk briefly on working lines of credit that can help you in your business. Our community calendar today will also show some of the resources that we have that are out there for our business. We're going to get an update on our small business credit survey. And our small business credit survey, which is going until next month, and encourage all of you out there today to please click on the link, do the survey. As always, your questions will be answered live today on the webinar. And also, you'll find a list of today's resources in our chat box, along with our polls. So Maureen will be working, our producer on Webinar Wednesday will be working the chat box to put resources for today. She will likely send this out with a recording and a listing of the slides if you would like, and also other resources in an email later this week to you. So got one little poll question for you today, and it is really tied to, our presentation with our economist today, with Dr. Evans. And so our poll question is going to be very simple, and it's going to take a pretty good guess on your part, I'm going to guess. We'll let Dr. Evans fill in the blanks on why it is important for me to ask you the poll question today on how many kids our Nobel economics winner has. So our economic professor, our economic winner of the Nobel Prize for Economics, is going to be featured a little bit. And it's going to be based on, somehow children. We'll figure out how. But does she have 0 children, or does she have 2, 5, 8, or could she possibly even have 20 children? So again, and this will all be explained to you why it's necessary to ask this question. But it is kind of an important aspect of the research that she has done and has concluded, and that the Nobel people thought that it was worthy of giving her, I don't know, what is it, $1 million for this prize? And she could have she has one of these, either 0, 2, 5, 8, or 20 children. We do have 45% of you participating. Thank you for jumping in, looking for that wonderful 65% figure. So we're going to give you one more chance to jump in. How many kids? I know it's a wild guess unless you're using Mr. Google right now, but is it 0, 2, 5, 8, or 20 children? Okay, we are going to end the poll. 55% of you participating. I like a higher number than that. And share the results. And the results are 36% of you think that the Nobel Prize winner has 8 children. 27% think that she has 5 children. 18% 2 children, 0 for 9%, and also 0 for 20 children. So we'll let Dr. Evans share the results with you and explain why. But I can guarantee you it is going to be one of the extremes, okay? Okay, so enough for my shenanigans today on the poll question. and we will move along with today's webinar. Okay, so jumping real quick into Capital Quarter, our weekly feature, and we've been featuring how small businesses can have a debt ceiling. We went through the debt ceiling with the government months ago, and these are factors that can limit your ability to raise capital. And so, not going over all of them this week, but there's a number of them that are listed here. It could be anything from financial ratios to minimizing your taxes over a long period of time and not showing enough income for a lender to provide you with a small business loan. Relationships obviously factor in. Last week, we talked about the famous Bill Clinton quote, "It's the economy, stupid." And that can be a reason why you are not going to get a small business loan. It can be general economic conditions, which it's so important of why we have a resident economist here on an economic economist on Webinar Wednesday. So anyway, today we're going to talk about setting up lines of credit. And really, the secret on lines of credit is to reach out and set those up. I put here when you don't need the money, but really the proper time to set up a credit line is when your financial information, your profit and loss, your need for a credit line is the greatest. So oftentimes what we'll do is we'll see businesses that maybe haven't set up their line of credit. Business is still good, but we're moving into a period of time that is very unsettling because of the general economic conditions. But setting up that credit line in advance of that and having that money that's sitting there waiting for you can really help you out if economic conditions impact your business significantly. So if you could use a line of credit, and not every business needs a line of credit, but oftentimes those that actually rely on seasonality, for example, if your business has a seasonal component to it, oftentimes the non-peak seasons can be a little bit more challenging. Oftentimes, if you're an agricultural type business, when you get your crop in at one time, or you use a value-added crop, there's a lot of aspects where you can have a very uneven type fiscal year. Set it up when your results are the best and your lender is most likely to work with you on the line of credit at that time. Okay, I'm going to bring in now with our economic corner, our Webinar Wednesday resident economist, Dr. Mark Evans. He's an emeritus professor at CSUB, former economics chair, associate dean of the School of Business and Public Administration, over 40 years, co-founder of the Kern Economic Journal, and a recent 2023 inductee into the CSUB Faculty Hall of Fame. His colleagues just simply refer to him as the GOAT, the greatest of all time, as far as economists go at CSUB. He hates it when I say that, so I'm in for some trouble throughout the rest of the webinar. Dr. Evans, thank you for joining us, and take it away.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us during your lunch today. As you know, the Federal Reserve has met in the last few weeks, and also, as you know, that what the Fed's trying to do is slow down the economy a bit to bring inflation down to 2% or so, where it can sustain at about 2%. We're not only, according to the Fed, we're not only on track for another quarter point increase sometime in before the year's out, although they did not raise the rate during their September meeting. But the Fed indicated that job gains remain strong, and the unemployment rate has remained low, inflation remains elevated, and then therefore they continue to expect to have to make another quarter point increase before the year's out. And furthermore, they indicated that right now they anticipate there will be fewer rate cuts next year than they previously thought, and that the first one's likely not to occur until June or so of 2024. So what they're trying to do is basically raise lending rates, have banks crank up eligibility for loans, so there's a little bit more capital rationing to slow the economy. And it definitely did have an effect on long-term rates. Okay, the 10-year Treasury bond A day or so ago, it was 4.78%. I don't know what it is today. That's a significant increase from 4.35 just prior to them releasing their statement. When expected short-term rates go up, of course, long-term rates are going to go up, and that's what's happened. So part of the explanation is that if you expect short-term rates to persist longer into the future, there's going to be arbitrage among lenders and borrowers that's going to push up the long-term rate immediately. But there may be another factor at work as well. And that is that long-term and short-term lending and borrowing aren't perfect substitutes for each other. So there could be a spread in the market caused by just preferences for short versus long-term bonds and the supply and demand for both. So some people are starting to wonder if really this effect isn't cranking up long-term interest rates even more. For example, the quantitative tightening on behalf of the Fed, they're disinvesting their portfolio of long-term bonds. So on the demand side, it's shrinking. At the same time, the deficits have been huge, as you all know. So the Treasury is issuing lots of new bonds. So as the supply goes up, the demand goes down. This could be another factor causing bond prices to shrink and long-term rates to go up. Now, I think long-term rates have gone up quicker and more than possibly the Fed anticipated. They were trying to increase them, but if that's the case, and if these long-term rates persist, then I think what it does is it decreases the probability that the Fed will have to actually make another increase in the short-term rates going forward before the year's out. So let's keep an eye on long-term rates over the next week or two, see if they settle back down or stay up. Okay, switching gears, the Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded this week. It was announced that Claudia Goldin is the recipient. Professor Goldin was born in 1946 in New York City, educated at Cornell and University of Chicago. She's currently a Harvard economics professor and director of research programs at the National Bureau of Economic Research. Her fields are economic history and labor economics. Her research interprets the present through the lens of the past and explores the origins of current events, current issues of concern. The Nobel Committee recognized her for advancing our understanding of women's labor market outcomes. Okay, let's look at one of Professor Goldin's many studies. One that really tried to ask the question, what explains today's gender gap in wages and promotions? In this study, she focused on college-educated married women. It had a scope of 100 years, or women born within an entire, the latest century. So we're talking about 5 generations of women. And what she found is that many of the factors that contributed to the wage gap earlier in the 20th century are less important now. We've made progress in these areas. For example, overt discrimination, contraceptives have delayed childbirth, which has allowed for additional education, work experience. There's much less occupational segregation than there used to be. I started out college as an engineering major, and I don't think we had one female in my beginning class. Now, if you go to Cal State and look at engineering majors, you'll see many young women pursuing that career. There have been many improvements in household appliances that have decreased the amount of time that's necessary to keep the house upkeep. Men are a little bit better than they used to be in terms of child caring. So there's been progress on a lot of fronts. And what Goldin found is that the biggest factor right now in explaining the remaining gender wage gap is what she calls disparate pay and promotions within occupations characterized by greedy work. Okay, so let me emphasize the word within. In the past, much of the gender gap was attributable to men and women being in different occupations, but she's saying now what the primary cause is differences within same occupations. Okay, so what's dirty work or greedy work? It's a job where basically you're on call all the time. Whatever needs to be done, you can be called on to do it, whether it be Saturday, Sunday, 2 o'clock in the morning. So my guess is that if you think about it, every one of your small businesses has somebody that does the greedy work, in the sense that they're always there, no matter whatever's needed. So what she found is that the hourly earnings, as well as the promotions within occupations, are almost exponential in terms of the extent to which people participate in this greedy work, where they're always on call. So, and then you look at the typical heterosexual couple that's maybe middle or high income, educated, and what you'll see is the male has the greedy work or the greedy job, greedy in terms of their time commitment, that requires them to be on call for work all the time, 24/7 almost, while the woman could have a very professional job, but it tends to be more structured and flexible, where she, in essence, is on call at home. And when the kids desperately need her, she can be there. An example, if you look at pharmacists versus attorneys, earlier in the 20th century, the wage gap wasn't much different for the two occupations. Pharmacists ran their own business. They produced medicines to order. They were called at all hours of the night because somebody needed something. They worked very long hours. But those pharmacists that owned the business and really put in these long hours, and these not only long but unpredictable when they occurred, they did very well. Well, the pharmacy industries evolve. It's now been taken over largely by huge drugstores. The production of prescriptions has been more centralized. Work hours are more standard, and what you see is the gender gap basically decreasing significantly over time in this occupation, where if you look at the attorney's industry, the legal profession, not that much has changed over time in terms of the structure of employment. And as a consequence, the gender earnings gap is still very large in that occupation. So that would be one example she cited of her conclusion. Why the Nobel Prize? Well, what she does is she looks at labor markets over long sweeps of time, over 100 years or 200 years, depending on the study. And for studies like this, the relevant data not only is not published, and it's undigitized because it's not even published. So what you have to do is you have to go out, you have to travel for long periods of time, do research, just hunting through unpublished archival records. She once quoted, said, "I have always thought of myself as being a detective. The detective always believes that you can find the answer if you're persistent enough." The theme of her work is that most of the remaining gender gap in the workplace is really dependent on decisions being made in the household rather than discrimination or something like that happening in the workplace. So I think it's interesting in the sense that she's married to a world-class economist like herself. So if you're familiar with academia, the people that really, like in any field, that are successful at such a high level, they in essence have greedy work, or they're working around the clock 24/7, regardless of whether they're compensated more for it or not. They're looking for compensation of another type, recognition, etc. I'm sure as she did her research, she was thinking of really the constraints she recognized that women's face, wives of if you have children at home, it really becomes impossible to really commit that fully to your profession. And in fact, then the answer to the pop quiz is 0. But she and her husband are both world-renowned economists. I think they would have been great economists whether they had any children or not, but the fact that they didn't undoubtedly helped in terms of being able to commit to their life's work. With that, I'll pass it back to Kelly.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm still waiting for you to win that Nobel Prize for the work that you do here on Webinar Wednesday.
Don't hold your breath.
Okay, well, get back in here for just 1 second. I want to ask you a little bit about this chart that I showed last week. And this chart last week really kind of depicted the increasing rise in small business bankruptcies over the last year. And with general economic terms, conditions deteriorating, is this a pattern that you expect to continue, get worse, or get better?
Well, it is the human side of just economists speak for interest rates are going to go up and then loans are going to go down. I mean, clearly, small business is at risk because as rates go up and it becomes more difficult to get lines of credit, et cetera, you're going to have larger failures. So whether it's going to persist, I think, depends on whether the high rates and the difficult lending conditions persist. And at least in the Fed's last statement, they signaled to the economy that they believe it's going to persist longer than they initially thought because inflation is a little bit more sticky than they originally thought. So I wish I could be reassuring and optimistic, but I think we are in for another, at least 5 or 6 months or so before we start seeing things ease a little bit.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I guess I'll use that as an opportunity to say, if you have any problems in your business, contact your local SBDC. Get in front of a struggling business, because there are some resources and there are some strategies and some solutions that can help you when you are experiencing tough times. So, well, that does it for Dr. Evans' portion. And like we like to say, he'll come in here and he'll talk about whatever floats his goat. So when we have the goat in here, he can float and talk about whatever floats his goat. Okay, moving on. Our Bakersfield Food Management Program that we're working with the city of Bakersfield through their grant program is still open and still getting a lot of interest. It's being hosted through our Cal State Bakersfield Extended Education. And Extended Education has developed this program, which is an online, on-demand, and you can take it at your pace. So easy class to take. Features our SBDC restaurant consultant, Celeste Young Ramos, and does a fantastic job and fulfills the training requirement for the particular grant that you can apply for up to generally basically 5 to 10, but there are a very few select grants for expanding businesses between $25,000 and $40,000 as well. We expect this program to be going at least throughout the rest of this year, but now's the time to work on the program. If it's a food business this way, if not, then also look through other options of receiving the grant and receiving the training, the business plan preparation, and the consulting through one of the 3 providers, including the CSUB SBDC. Looking at our community calendar, we're continuing to look forward to in a couple of weeks, the Small Business Expo, which is going to be presented by the Kern County Black Chamber of Commerce. And that is going to be from 4 to 7 p.m. They have workshops beginning at 2 p.m. Be a great event. Looking forward to being there and being a participant in that particular event. Also, we've been promoting over the last couple of months the opportunity, and really one of the huge economic challenges for many families is that don't have 0 kids, that have the 2, 4, 6, or 8 kids is to try to continue working while trying to provide sustainable childcare for them. And as we have been working with the Nurture program, Nurture Childcare Business, to develop childcare businesses out of their home. They just had a 12-week class start in mid-September, but classes will be starting up again soon. I have to really, we've talked about this program, and the need is huge in our community here in Kern County, and we continue to have that need. And I really have to applaud you people, because they just recently released the numbers of the cohort, and it's time for us to pump our guns, to take credit for this particular program, because in this 14 county region, half of the attendees in the current program are from Kern County. And the only way that has been promoted on Webinar Wednesday. And so it's the word of mouth that you provide to those that are interested. It's the activity that gets out there and telling people about these opportunities that have us in the 14 county Central California region having 50% of the participants in the latest cohort. I'm proud of you, and thank you for continuing to push out a lot of these programs and a lot of these assistance for small businesses to not only your coworkers, your business friends, but others in the business community. So thank you again so much. We talk a lot about our HR resource, our free resource, and there's a number of the hotlines. Kern, Inyo, and Mono County, the number is 888-201-5817. You get the California Employer Association provides assistance at no cost at all. If you have a question that related to HR, give it a shot. Talked a little bit at the beginning about our small business credit survey. And earlier actually about a month ago, we had our representative from the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank, Sarah Sims, on talking about the value that comes from this small business credit survey. It does take 12 minutes to take this particular survey, but again, it's going to provide us here in Kern County with invaluable information. The Federal Reserve, if we have 50 responses by mid-November, they will share and give us really some incredible documents and incredible documentation and information related to the small business credit survey for our Kern County market. And that'll help us decide on programs and to talk with community and government leaders on other programs that can benefit small businesses in our area. So please follow the link in the chat box to the Federal Reserve survey. Take it, let them know exactly how you feel about the access to credit in Kern County and other places. We'd love to have your feedback from today's webinar. We have surveys that go out, and there'll be a survey. You can also go to our Google page and actually our big business profile page on Google and leave a nice response. If you have any questions regarding our service, you can always reach out to me. I'm here to take your calls, your concerns. If you're one of our SBDC clients, let me know if you have any concerns, or just go to the business profile and leave a wonderful reception. Also, to let you know about our YouTube channel, there's one of our featured webinars on demand in there that we don't talk much about. It's about the EIDL program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, a fantastic program. You've heard probably me mention it a few, maybe some of you a few dozen times over the last couple of years about the value that this program is continuing to bring. If you're having any problem with repayment, contact the SBDC. Let us help us help you in getting that resolved and working on that. We're seeing some wonderful things come out of people who have EIDL. Remember, this is a loan at 3.75%. Dr. Evans has talked about interest rates. Right now, a corresponding interest rate for a business loan from SBA is pushing 13%. The value of having a 30-year loan at 3.75% is turning into an asset for businesses that either want to sell, want to reorganize, or want to work on getting their business down the road. And there's our YouTube channel. We have 369 subscribers as the last time I saw. Subscribe and check out Webinar Wednesday on YouTube at your convenience. Lastly, the City of Bakersfield Security Improvement Program. This is for the downtown sector mostly, but I think there are qualified census tracts throughout the city that actually you can apply and receive up to $5,000 per site, which would allow you to increase the security of your business location with alarm systems and cameras and lighting and other things. You have to be in the city of Bakersfield and have a current business license and no more than 500 employees, please. Okay, that brings us to our special guest today. And let's get green, people. I got my green jeans on today. I'm really feeling green. I'm not going to brag about how many miles that I have actually in my green mode. I'm not going to talk. It's not about me driving or actually using public transportation to an incredible number of miles, but it's about what you can do for your business. And we have Nancy Robles, who's a bilingual sustainability consultant and outreach professional in Kern and Fresno counties, where she runs 2 green programs. She comes to this from the environmental innovations. She'll talk about her LEED certification, technical account, and other things. It's her love for nature and the passion. I love nature too. And passion for sustainability drives her to make this community a more sustainable place to live, work, and I might add, prosper. So Nancy, thank you for joining us. Jump in and take over.
Of course. Thank you so much, Kelly. I am presenting now. Hi, everyone. My name is Nancy. I am a bilingual sustainable consultant for environmental innovations. And today I will be discussing the Green Business Program, and I'll also be touching base on the Simplified Savings Program as well. I will discuss it a little bit more in detail, a little snippets about both programs, and then I do have an area for questions, and then also an area to scan a QR code if you want to learn more and jump into the websites. Without further ado, let me go ahead and start. So the California Green Business Network is here in the state of California. We have over 4,500 businesses certified at the moment. You see right here on our map of California, what you see in dark green is where we already have a program coordinator located that's helping out. What's in light green is where we're headed. If you happen to be a business owner in any of the areas, green or gray, no worries. We do have someone located for the out of areas as well. We have partnerships with over 48 cities and counties. And if you wanted to enroll, and again, we're going to have this a little bit more towards the end, you could enroll at greenbusinessca.org. We also have a Facebook and Instagram to go ahead and check us out. So you're wondering what makes a green business. So the Green Business Program, I am the coordinator for Kern and Fresno County. And for my counties, the program is a free program. And we help businesses make the changes necessary to implement sustainable practices. In this process, you could actually end up saving money. You would enjoy and improve employee wellness. And also, it is a marketing edge for businesses. In areas where you could save money, examples would be water, energy, and also waste. A good example I like to provide for businesses is where you could conserve energy. So for instance, right now, the lights you have in your business, they may be T8s, T12s, CFLs, fluorescents. Depending on the lighting you have, part of our checklist, we ask that you have LED lighting. So if you make that switch to LED lighting, you will actually end up conserving energy, not only as a business, but it's going to end up saving on your energy bill. We do review water usage. So how many gallons per minute are being used in your sinks? How much is being used for your kitchen sinks, hand sinks, also toilets? How many gallons per flush is being used at the toilets? When it comes to waste, according to the laws of the city and county, we look to see whether your opportunities with composting, recycling, and putting in the landfill. We want to make sure you are separating your waste according to your city and or county laws. And in doing so, you could actually save money. You may not need as many services coming during the week. You may even be able to get a smaller bin if you start composting. One of the biggest things I've noticed is a change in education is when we discuss the cleaning products. So we'll discuss cleaning products that not only are less toxic for the environment, but also less toxic for ourselves. So these are cleaning products that are certified not through us. There are third-party certifications such as US EPA Safer Choice, Eco Logo, Green Seal, that are known to be less toxic, not only for us, but also for the environment. We also look at commuting opportunities. So other ways to not only be driving on your own, but other commuting opportunities where you could become more sustainable. We discuss pollution prevention and also discussing, well, working locally. If you're wondering, okay, well, with my type of business, I'm not sure if I could be part of this green business certification. So we have about, I want to say, I think 33 different lists for all the different type of sectors out there. Here are just a few examples. One that's not on here that I've been doing a lot lately is actually home offices. So there's a lot of businesses out now work from home. We do have a home office checklist. We have remote offices for companies that have an office location, but they have remote workers. We do have that as an add-on as well. We have medical services, we have restaurants, groceries, all these different types of business sectors. The most commonly used one is office retail. So if you decide to sign up and you're looking through the different lists and you're not sure on which one you would fall under, go ahead and select the one you think is most applicable. Once a business signs up, I get notified and I would reach out to you. And again, I'm for Kern and Fresno, but if you happen to be in any of the other counties, their program coordinator for the other counties would be reaching out to you as well. But we'll jump on a one-on-one, discuss the green business program a little bit more in detail, discuss your business and find the correct sector for your business. So if you're wondering, why should I become a green business? So the Green Business Program, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's a free program. And it's good for the environment and for ourselves. You are making these changes to become sustainable. It helps you save in your energy, water, and garbage bills. A good example for the water is you could be using an aerator that you just place on your faucet, that instead of using 2.2 gallons per minute, you will be using 0.5 gallons per minute. You improve employee wellness. So not only do we discuss cleaning products, but we also make sure there is HVAC maintenance and opportunities for employee wellness in that areas. Through the Green Business Program, once you finish certification, you will get a marketing toolkit. So this is a marketing edge for the businesses. You would have access to our logo. If you go on our business on greenbusinessca.org and you look up, find a business, your business would show up on our list. And you would also get a window clean, you would get a certificate. Currently, at the moment, we are actually doing the fall challenge, where any businesses that finish by November 15th will actually be getting a free ad on us to help even promote your business even further. So if you sign up now and you finish by November 15th, you will be able to be part of a challenger as well for the fall challenge and get that free promotional ad on us. An added benefit right now is being part of the Green Business Program. We also have rebates. So the program is free, but we understand that sometimes you do need to make those changes to pass the measures to get the certification. So we have a rebate normally from $250 to $1,000, but from now up until November 30th, the rebate has doubled. And these rebates, it depends on a few areas, but the things that the rebates help is, let's say on your checklist, you have those long T12 lightings. You could purchase and make that change to the LED lighting, keep the receipt, and we would be able to reimburse you up to the amount that is applicable to your business to make that switch. So not only is it good for the environment, it's good on your bills, it's good for your employees, it's good a promotion for your business, but it's also a good benefit for all in one. So there's a lot of areas where you can improve. We do have 3 different areas. So in terms of all the different types of sectors, so the different lists we have, we also have an entry level. So those are a few measures to start the kickoff start for your business. We have a certification level where you do obtain your certification, you get put on our website. And there's also the innovator level where you could go above and beyond and do more than extra, a little more to put out that you are a sustainable leader. I also want to discuss PG&E Simplified Savings Program. So us Green Business Partners, we are assisting PG&E's latest program that is designated for small businesses. And this program, what it is, it's focused and we partner with Resource Innovation to put the word out and help with doing these assessments for this program. It's designated for small businesses, and it will be able to, if you apply and you qualify, you would be able to get some energy efficient upgrades for free. And some of them are an add-on, so they are considered a cost, but they're at a discounted rate. There are a few qualification measures. Some of them are in terms of it is focused more towards small businesses that are located in a DAC region, so disadvantaged community, or meet one of the following criteria, which is under 10 employees, primary languages other than English, and that you rent or lease the space. Right here on the right, you'll see some of my coworkers. We were doing a site visit where we were able to provide for free a business, a room air purifier, a smart thermostat, a smart plug-in smart strip, and also installation for their water heater. Right here is just a few examples of the direct install measures that we are able to do at no cost for businesses. It is dependent on a few factors. So first, once you apply and if you qualify, it does depend on your building type and your business as well. But a few examples of these direct installs at no cost is smart thermostats. Some of the lighting are considered direct installs, pipe insulation, faucet aerators, smart outlets, smart power strips, occupancy sensor wall switches. So sometimes people forget to turn off the lights, but this is going to help you with the occupancy sensor wall switch and room air purifiers. As a green business coordinator, I'm able to assist with some assessments and some of the basic installs. And then the others would be with other program trade allies through this network. So I was wondering if anyone has any questions. Again, the Green Business Program is a free program. We have rebate opportunities. You can save money and also have a marketing edge towards your business. The Simplified Savings Program is a program from PG&E that if you qualify, you could get some of these efficiency upgrades for free or as an add-on. So I will leave it here. For anyone that has any questions, I'll leave it here if you want to screenshot or look at this particular slide. It has to do with the Green Business Program website is greenbusinessca.org. And PG&E's Simplified Savings Program is simplifiedsavings.program.com. QR code for Green Business is above, and QR code for PG&E's is below, along with my contact information. Feel free to email me, call me. Again, I am focused for Kern and Fresno County. For the Green Business Program, it's all throughout California. So any other coordinator in other of the counties will be able to assist you as well.
Wow, fantastic stuff.
Thank you.
Those are some lovely parting gifts that you can leave people as a coordinator.
Yes, of course, yes.
Okay, so if you have questions for Nancy, please jump into the Q&A box and leave her a question. She's going to be here until 1 o'clock. So now's your opportunity to get those green questions out there and get them answered. Obviously, there's some great programs and they change as we roll along. So feel free to jump in and ask a particular question. So we also get some interest in Kings and Tulare County. Is that a different coordinator, Nancy?
Yes, I understand it's right in between both counties. So yes, we do have a program coordinator designated for Kings and Tulare. So it will be the same one. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me and I will provide you with their contact information.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of leapfrog from Kern to Fresno, huh?
I do. Yes, just go straight to the 99, you know.
Okay, we do have a question here. And the question is, we have just updated our lighting. Would we still be eligible for the rebates?
So the rebate is specific to measures in your checklist. So Jane, good question. If there's any additional lights, so it has to be during your certification process. So if there's any other upgrades part of the measures to pass, then yes. However, if this has already been a switch prior to actually starting the certification, then it wouldn't be able to be part of the rebate. But anything further on, we would be able to assist you on that.
Okay. So are nonprofits eligible to take advantage of your particular programs?
Yes, I actually do work with a few of linking out chambers. The California Green Business Network in itself is a nonprofit as well. So yes, we do help businesses, small, medium, small are our sweet spot, but we do help businesses as much as we can.
Oh, great.
Nonprofits, yes.
Well, then you can count on me. I'm going to give Nancy a call. Maybe I'll send her an email and have her come down, because you know our lighting here at Webinar Central isn't so good. So
Yes, we could totally work on getting your business becoming a green business certification. And you might also even qualify for the PG&E's new program.
wow, that's fantastic.
Yes.
See if any more questions have popped in. If not, we'll take a view of the chat box. So let's cruise over to the chat box and see if any questions landed in there. We do, going from the bottom up of the chat box, see Nancy's contact information. She's got her email and her phone number, and the fact that she's a bilingual sustainable consultant, which of course is important in San Joaquin Valley. A little bit on the PG&E program, their Simplified Savings Program. The link is there. Click on that and get more information. The Green Business California Network, Maureen has graciously posted that link as well. Getting into earlier parts of the webinar, their Google review page, there's a particular link along with the City of Bakersfield Business Security Improvements Grant, and also to receive SBDC consulting at no charge. There's our link along with our YouTube channel. Talked a little bit about the Federal Reserve and how much and how passionate we're going to be chasing 50 of you people to get that data, because we want that data. So there's that link. Please jump in. You know, I'm going to try to figure out a way to maybe have a raffle prize for, you know, if we get over 50 and raffle something off here. I know our friends in the past have been give us some stuff, so maybe we'll look into that also. As far as Nurture, the no-cost training program for new home child care businesses, the information there. And again, thank you so much for having 50% of the current cohort made up of Kern County residents. Also, Bakersfield Food Management Program linked there. Some greetings to start with, and no more questions. Oh, we're shy today, aren't we? So no more questions. Okay, well, Nancy, thank you so much. Cover a couple things. Maybe a couple questions will pop up if you want to stick around. And
Yes, thank you.
We got a few minutes left, and let's see what else I got here. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Saved it for the last, if we had time for it, but I just wanted to, we acknowledge birthdays here sometime. And also, you know, so many business people get criticized, you know, because they make money or, you know, what they do in their particular line of work, where they could be considered, you know, maybe a greedy entrepreneur instead of a greedy worker, like Dr. Evans talked about. But here's just an example of, I read about this gentleman, I don't know Charles Feeney, but I call it a businessman's life well lived. He recently passed away at the age of 92. He was an Air Force veteran, was born in actually New Jersey, and then volunteered when he became 18 for the Air Force and served 4 years there. He had several entrepreneurial efforts early, everything from making sandwiches for people in the Air Force that he worked with, and also organizing camps and other things. So he was an entrepreneur young in life. He started and then built duty-free shops in airports along with a partner. And he became very successful. And he became kind of notorious for not wanting to live a billionaire's lifestyle, wanting a more modest lifestyle. But over that lifetime, he built an $8 billion empire. And of that $8 billion empire, he gave almost all of that money away, most of it anonymously. He did retire on $2 million in an apartment that he lived in with his wife in San Francisco. He liked watching baseball, which for me, of course, drew the question. Okay, you're from New Jersey, and the California teams, the Giants and Dodgers, didn't move out until he was 26 years old. The Yankees were there too. So now I want to know, can somebody find me out who Charles Feeney's favorite baseball team was. It could have been the Yankees, the Giants, or the Dodgers. Would be my three best guess. Of his gifts, he gave nearly $1 billion to his alma mater, which was called Cornell University. He attended Cornell and graduated on the GI Bill, and attributed much to his success to dumb luck. So he built an $8 billion empire, and he literally gave it all away. And he did it during the time of his life, of which he passed this last week. So kudos to you, Mr. Feeney, for doing it right, and for being there for a lot of other people that might have needed you during that particular time, and to show the true life of a businessman can be well lived. So just wanted to acknowledge that. And we will be coming back next week for Webinar Wednesday, number 295, October 18th, 2023. Let me see if there's any more questions. I don't see any more questions, nothing else in the chat. Any last comments you would like to say, Nancy?
I hope I see quite a few businesses signing up and working towards their green business certification.
Nancy, we are going to do that. I am out on a limb right here saying we are going to do everything we can to get certified for our certification. So
That's awesome news, Kelly. I'm excited to work with you.
okay. So that's going to end today's webinar. And for Nancy Ramos, last week, Celeste Young Ramos, for Nancy Robles, our producer, Maureen Busher-Dang, Dr. Mark Evans, I'm Kelly Bearden. We'll be back next week. Webinar number 295. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.